Good afternoon. Welcome everyone. We will first start with the Lebanese national anthem and the AUB alma mater. Did you know that the Arab region is considered to be one of the most youthful regions in the world? Over 50% of the population is under the age of 25, which means that the youth constitute more than 100 million people. Of course, this large youthful generation presents a future burden for the Arab world, especially when it comes to providing quality education, creating more and more decent job opportunities, and sustaining economic growth. Now, it's true that the rate of K-12 education, as well as higher education, has been systematically improving over the years. But there's also an agreement that the quality of education in the Arab world still lags behind, especially when it comes to fostering the innovation mindset of the youth. A relevant question in this context is, are we equipping the youth with the skills they need to work in the 21st century, when most jobs 20 years from now still do not exist today? Are we preparing them to lead and succeed in the fourth industrial revolution, when many people are afraid that they might be losing their jobs because of the rise of technologies such as robotics and artificial intelligence? Welcome to AUB, a top university in the Arab world, and welcome to the Maroun Sam'an Faculty of Engineering and Architecture, where we take engineering education very seriously. We are very aware of the problems I just mentioned, and we are working day and night to not only keep improving our labs and equipment to make sure that students and faculty have all the resources they need to carry state-of-the-art research, but also to keep improving our programs and courses to foster their innovation mindsets, in order to create a future generation of engineers and designers who are tech-competent, human-centered, and extremely innovative. Today is a proof of the latter, as we celebrate the completion of the first cycle of the FYP Accelerator program. I am Mona Aitani, entrepreneur and instructor at the MSFEA, and it was my ultimate pleasure to be part of setting up and piloting this FYP Accelerator program under the close follow-up of Dr. Ayman Qaisi, who is the godfather of this program and the engine behind the newly established entrepreneurship and innovation track at MSFEA, also alongside with Ilyas Bustani, consultant and instructor at MSFEA. As you may know, the FYP, which stands for Final Year Project, is also known as the Capstone Project in other contexts. It's a graduation requirement for the engineering students across the faculty. It demonstrates a high level of technical innovation, and a significant amount of FYP projects are fit to be commercialized. However, in the past, we have been missing on most of this opportunity, as students lack the entrepreneurial mindset and business skills needed to transform their technical innovation into a viable business. With the FYP Accelerator program, we worked on exactly that, where we carefully selected, based on an application and interview process, 7 teams who will be pitching today. These teams have been working on the technical aspects of their projects with their supervisors, who are professors from their respective departments, and in parallel, they made use of the acceleration sessions and the many guests and mentors who were kind enough to share with us their experience in order to think of the business aspects of their projects, and in order to transform them into a viable business beyond the university boundaries. What's special about this group is that they all have working prototypes, which means that this is beyond idea stage. So for all the investors in the room, I tell you, this is a golden opportunity. As for our event agenda, which I think you got at the door, we will start with 2 brief opening speeches, and then we will have the first round of pitches, where 4 teams will pitch. Just after that, we will make use of the presence of our esteemed judges, which we will introduce in a bit, in a 20-minute panel moderated by Ilyas Bustani. Then pitching will resume with another 3 teams, after which the judges will leave the room to deliberate and choose 2 lucky winners. Meanwhile, Mr. Eli Habib from Anghami will give his closing keynote speech, followed by a Q&A from the audience. We will end the event by announcing the winners and awarding them big checks. But please don't leave just then, because we have a reception and networking at 6. Before we get to listen to the pitches, where you can judge for yourself on the quality of the business ideas and innovation, I would like to thank Touch Lebanon for believing in this mission and for contributing $20,000 in awards for the best 2 teams, who will be announced today. We have a pleasure to have with us Mr. Nadim Khatib, Chief Commercial Officer of Touch, who will be also acting as a judge, and finally giving away the big awards, which were a main and needed incentive in this effort-consuming and zero-credit program. Nadim, please, the floor is yours.
Hello, everybody. I'm really happy to be here back at my alma mater. I think I left AUB maybe more than 20 years ago. It's been a wild ride ever since. I also want to thank Mona and Dr. Aisi for giving Touch the chance to be part of this. We're very fond of this program, and we're also very fond of this Ideas initiative that we're experiencing today and tomorrow at AUB. I'm going to take the opportunity today to tell you a little bit about what Touch is doing in the whole digital and innovation and entrepreneurship space. So Touch is tackling this area from 3 fronts. The first front is us looking internally. So before we engage any partners or any entrepreneurs or startups or vendors, we need to fix our own company. So what we're doing, we're building our databases, we're doing some AI, we're opening up our network, we're building APIs for integration with the partners. We're digitizing a lot of the workflows that exist today at Touch. We believe this is very important as a first step in our company in order to be ready for the future. So this is one front. The second front is actually going after the different verticals. As you know, telcos have exhausted revenues coming from SMS, minutes, and megabytes. So we're always trying to tap into new revenue streams. And that's why we are looking to new verticals and adjacent businesses. Like content, we have deals with iFlix, for video. We even have a deal recently we did with Booking.com for hotel booking. So we can use our customer base to book hotels, and then we do revenue shares. Other areas we're looking into is shared economy, IoT, other adjacent businesses that could complement telecom. So this is on the second front, partnerships, and verticals. On the third front is what we are doing here today. Touch is Touch is the biggest ICT company in Lebanon today, and we owe it to give back to the ecosystem and help startups and innovation and entrepreneurs really excel as part of our corporate responsibility, I guess. And everybody who has been talking to us lately has seen this change in culture and spirit. We're more approachable, we're more available now, and we're ready to give back to the whole ecosystem. A few things we're doing in the ecosystem is I'd like to mention. One is a deal we did with Antwerp, which we opened one of our spaces to become a co-working space. So if any of the startups or entrepreneurs, they want to use Touch Space, we've opened up one location downtown. Another thing we've done is that we've launched our own innovation program. There's something called TIP, the Touch Innovation Program, which ArabNet is helping us. So we take 6 startups every 6 months, and we help mentor them, accelerate them, incubate a few ideas, and maybe open our network for them to do proof of concepts or testing. So this is the TIP program. And the most important thing we've done this year is actually starting a VC fund, which is MIG Ventures. Today, there's a fund of $48 million built by Touch and Alpha and supported by the government to really invest in startups that could have a telecom focus. As you know, most as telcos, we have unused scale. We have 2.4 million customers today at Touch, and with the business we do with these customers is limited. So we can help a lot of companies grow and scale using this unused scale at telcos. So these are the 3 things mainly we're doing in digital innovation. Before I wrap up, I thought I'll share with the startups and the entrepreneurs today a few tips that I've come across based on my experience. The first tip is really take it personal, not in the negative sense, like taking it personal and being negative and personal with people, but take it personal as a challenge. I feel people are always satisfied when somebody comes and tells you can't do this, and then you do it and you come out on top. So you really have to take things personal if you really want to excel and achieve. It's okay to take it personally. It's not a big deal. The second thing is don't be too comfortable. Okay, we all know the thoughts, the obvious complacency thoughts. People become comfortable, they don't step out of their comfort zone, and nothing gets done. So you need to destroy your market before somebody destroys it for you. And as the famous Steve Jobs says, stay hungry. Don't ferment the problem. This is also very important. You got to face your demons. You got to mitigate the risks. You have to be transparent. If there are issues, you need to tell the people what these issues are up front and not to set yourself up for failure. This is also another obvious one, but I'd like to mention it. Hard work always pays off. People think the Beatles are talented. The Beatles, yes, did have talent, but the Beatles practiced 8 hours a day. The Beatles were playing 8 hours a day, and that's how they became the Beatles. So you need to have talent, but you need to complement your talent with a lot of practice. The final one is you need to launch before you're 100% ready. I think in the book Masters of Scale, I think Hoffman is the author. He mentioned that if you're not embarrassed with your first product or your prototype, something's wrong. And if you're going to wait for perfection to launch, you're going to miss out. So if you launch at incomplete, you tend to learn and correct. And as the final slide today, I'd like to give some motivation with using Jeff Bezos and what Jeff did. So this is a picture of Jeff in the 90s, and you can see, and even with his company growth, there were more physical enhancements to Jeff Bezos. Okay, so now he probably runs one of the biggest companies in the world. And one of the key traits that you can take away from Bezos and Steve Jobs actually is that they were able to capture the big picture and the details as once. So they were very patient when it comes to strategic objectives, but they were very impatient with the tactical stuff, the details. And I think this is what made them great. Finally, thank you very much for having us here, and good luck to everybody.
Thank you, Nadim. And now we will have also a small word from Dr. Ayman Qaisi, the professor at the Electrical and Computer Engineering Department and our very own associate dean.
Thank you. This is a very special day, actually, for me, because almost 2 years ago, I was discussing a new vision with the new dean of the MSFEA, Aram Shahadi. And I told him we really need to graduate startups, and not just graduate students. And he was very supportive. And now today, 2 years after that, we're actually graduating startups. So that was our initial vision, and we are pressing ahead with it. We are committed to it. The MSFEA is committing for the next 4 years almost more than $500,000 to support the program and invest in startups. So this is very serious, whether Circular 3-1 continues or not, we're doing it. The first phase consisted of what we refer to as the entrepreneurship track, and this is embedded in the engineering curricula and the 3rd and the 4th years. I discussed this with Habib Haddad and maybe at the time Abdullah Jabbour and maybe Fadi Buzdikame. And we came up with this. I will go very quickly over it because we're kind of late. This was produced by Habib. The 3rd year and the 4th year, these are the last 2 years of our engineering curriculum. In the 3rd year, we have hackathons, we have a course that students can take, and an internship that we recommend that they do at the startup. But the most important activity really is during the 4th year, and this is what we're seeing today. It's the FYP Accelerator. This is during the 4th year. And over 2 semesters, the students will augment their final year project, which we do at MSFEA regularly, but it's more of a technical graduation project. We now augment it with business mentorship. So students go through an accelerator, our own local accelerator, that Amuna Itani and Ilyas Bustani ran this year. And this is how it looks like. So from September to April, they're doing the FYP plus all kinds of activities, starting from design thinking and ending with the final pitching. I would like to thank the jury members, and I would like to present them to the audience. Mr. Henri Assaili. Henri is a founding partner of Leap Ventures with 20 years of experience as a serial entrepreneur. He co-founded BizRate and Shopzilla, acting as a CTO until its sale in 2005 for more than $500 million. He has been coaching entrepreneurs around the globe. He holds a BA in Math and Economics from Pennsylvania and also an MBA from Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania. Mohamed Rabah, after acquiring global experience in business consulting in the energy, aerospace, and construction industries, Mohamed returned to Lebanon in 2005 to lead ZRE, and he developed the Beirut Digital District, the go-to destination for the digital and creative community in Lebanon. Mohamed is a board member of LPG Distribution and also a board member of Bloombank. He holds a master's degree from the University of Texas at Austin and a civil engineering degree from AUB. Nadim Khatir is the CEO of Touch, and before he joined Touch, he worked as a consultant at Accenture. He has a master's degree in engineering management from Virginia Tech and a BA degree in electrical engineering from AUB. Salim Shaheen is currently professor of finance and endowed chair in finance at the OSB here at AUB. He was the interim dean of the school from 2013 to 2015. Before joining academia, Salim started his career as assistant chief financial officer in the oil pipeline industry in Europe, And during the last 20 years, he was an active advisor in the banking industry, has served as an advisor for a large number of startups, corporations, and governments in Europe, North Africa, and the GCC. He has a PhD in finance from Marseille and 2 master's degrees in financial engineering and in banking and finance. And last but not least, Professor Fea Ideas. He joined the United Nations ESQA in 2009 and is currently managing the Frontier Technologies Program, assisting in policy making and strategies in Arab countries. He received his PhD and master's degrees from Purdue University and the BSc in ECE from State University of New York. He was with IBM in the early 90s and then moved to Lebanon, served as a professor of electrical and computer engineering with us here until 2009. He is the star jury member in the Stars of Science TV show. We will have a keynote speaker with us, Mr. Eli Habib. I will introduce him now. Eli is the co-founder of Anghami, the leading music streaming service in the Middle East with over 55 million users, streaming over 800 million songs every month. Anghami raised over $30 million from VCs and partnered with NBC, the top media group in the region. He runs the operations and product management, spending most of his time between clouds, streams, and pixels. Before Anghami, he co-founded PowerMe Mobile, and prior to that, he was CTO at naharnet.com. So thank you very much for all jury members and the keynote speaker, and thank you, Touch, for your support and for providing the prizes for the Startup Awards. And now back to Mona, and good luck to all teams.
So for the format of the pitching, each group has only 5 minutes to pitch, and this will be timed. So we will cut them off at 5 minutes, and then the judges have 3 minutes to ask them questions. And then we will have also to cut you off at that in order to stay on time. For the audience, please, if you'd like to tweet about this or post on social media, just do the hashtag for Ideas 2018 and tag Touch and the MSFEA as well. So the order of the pitches is completely random, but you are lucky to start with a biomedical engineering device. Nader, who's going to be pitching, actually was completely confident about his pitching and public speaking skills until he met Priscilla, who is our pitch coach, and of course we are thankful for her because she shook everybody to the core. But this really helped them in order to perfect their pitches and dump a little bit their pure technical hat and wear some business hats as well. So please let's give a hand for ScanMD.
Medical professionals agree that one of the most challenging tasks is diagnosing skin anomalies. Anomalies like skin cancer, eczema, and psoriasis are the most common of such anomalies. How many of us woke up one day with a patch on their skin? And how many of us switched medication several times because a certain medicine did not suit our case? Add this to the fact that studies in the US have shown that 49 out of 50 biopsies were actually not cancerous. And this means two things. That first, there was a lot of misdiagnosis, and second, there was a lot of unneeded biopsies. And this is because typical diagnosis at its first level starts with visual inspection, where a doctor visually inspects a certain disease and observes certain features. This examination is highly qualitative, as it only depends on the experience and exposure of the medical professional without taking into consideration the biological or electrical properties of the sample under test. So in many cases, misdiagnosis can occur. For the second level of diagnosis, there is the biopsy. This examination is highly invasive in a sense that a sample of the skin is cut and taken for study for a period of around 1 to 2 weeks. Moreover, this procedure is highly stressful for the patients who are anxiously waiting to know what's wrong with them. For that cause, we were inspired to build on top of the technology provided by the field of electromagnetics and use it in the field of biomedicine to provide medical professionals with a tool that complements the qualitative examination and reduces the probability of misdiagnosis as well as the number of unneeded biopsies. My name is Nader, and we are developing ScanMD, which stands for Skin Anomalies Monitoring and Detection, a handheld scanner that utilizes radio frequency waves that interact with the skin to extract some of its properties. ScanMD allows medical professionals to non-invasively and instantaneously diagnose a set of the most common anomalies. It also abides by the FCC rules and regulations, making it as safe as possible. Now, it is actually very simple. The tip of the device is placed on healthy skin and the measurement is taken. And next, the tip of the device is moved towards the anomalous zone and another measurement is taken. And finally, a diagnosis is concluded on the screen of the device. But now, a doctor's diagnosis consists of two parts. First, the qualitative one through visual inspection, and second, the quantitative one through our device. Now, you might ask us about competitors. Our competitors have the same problem, being qualitative. They don't take into account the actual biological or electrical properties of the sample under test, as opposed to ScanMD. And in fact, ScanMD targets multiple skin anomalies and not just one, while approaching our design in a way that differs from those found in the literature. In addition, ScanMD provides monitoring for the state of the anomaly over time, meaning we can know whether there's improvement or deterioration, allowing for a more adequate medicine prescription. And finally, the device is highly compact, making it easy to handle and use. The dermatology devices market size is around $14 billion in 2021. And we plan to sell this device directly to medical professionals in hospitals and clinics, with the potential of making it available for normal consumers in the future. So far, medical professionals have expressed great interest in the potential of this device. Also, we've conducted several successful experiments in lab settings, and after the device is fully packaged, we are heading towards clinical trials. We need an investment of $500,000 to initiate further research and development and also start the FDA approval process, along with other costs. We also need people with experience in business and medicine to join our teams, as our teams currently consist of 3 electrical, computer, and communication engineers who are highly motivated into incorporating technology into the field of healthcare and biomedicine, while also consistently coordinating with professors from the faculties of medicine and engineering at AUB. We envision ScanMD to revolutionize dermatology diagnostics. Thank you.
So, who would like to start with questions?
Hello. It's great to see such ideas coming out of Lebanon. Have you considered a feedback loop for this thing? So the error rate, I mean, if it detects the right thing and maybe run some AI on the data that you're going to get as results to fine-tune better the results going forward?
Of course. After the device is packaged and ready to use, we are going to apply it in medical schools. And through that, we can gain knowledge about the accuracy of the device and keep fine-tuning it until the results are according to standards and it can actually be used.
So you don't have actual field results yet?
For now, we only have the results coming from tests in lab settings, and not actual patients, because that requires certain procedures.
Right, but you do have test results?
Yes.
And what do these test results show?
Test results show that our device is now sensitive to different solutions that mimic the skin. It's like artificial skin.
Okay.
And where the 500,000, if you get them, how you use them, and where do they get you?
Well, first of all, they allow us to take us to the next level with research and development, and most importantly, the FDA, the very expensive FDA approval process, along with the patenting and other costs, and also, for example, we might have to pay some patients to allow us to test on their skin. We give them a small incentive, for example. This is a nice way to do it.
الكل بيفهم عربي هون؟ فيني اتعرف على زميلك؟ شو اسمك؟
جون بول.
واسمك انت؟
حسن.
بتعرفوا تجاوبوا على الاسئله مثل صاحبكم؟
نعم.
انتم مشاركين بكل شيء صح؟
نعم.
طيب هذا صاحبكم بكل الوقت اللي حكيه لحديت ما خلص تقريبا كان عندي شعور انه هو عم يعمل شيء كونسيومر برودكت. هل انتم فعلا ناويين كنتوا كونسيومر برودكت وصار شيء معكم رجعتوا قلتوا لا بنعطيها الحكيم ونريح راسنا هذا بيفهم اكثر من كونسيومر؟
لا تصور
انه رجع بالاخر كونفيوز بيصير بدي بلش مع الحكمه والبروفيشنال بعدين بنحول لكونسيومر. اذا ما بتعرف الجواب بدك تخلي صاحبك جون بول، شو اسمك جون بول؟ شو رايك حسن؟ تعطيني جون بول؟
هي المشكله
لكن انا عندي سؤال هون بيقول انه كيف التيم وهل هو التيم خرج يكون هالجروب ولا لا؟ بقى مش عم تعرف عليكم اتحشر لصوتك التفضيلي يعني مش قصدي الصوت التفضيلي ابدا بس لانه بالجروب في علامه على الموضوع. يلا جون بول.
هي المشكله انه اللي عم نحل نحن البايوبسي يعني اذا حدا عنده شيء مشكله بياخذوا بايوبسي من جسمه. it is painful.
انا بعرف هو شرح المشكله. لمين؟ هي confused us بالاخر بروفيشنالز ولا كونسيومر برودكت؟ يعني واحد انا بالبيت هيدا بدي اشتريه بالبيت I detect something ولا بدك تعطيه للحكيم بالمستشفى؟
حكيم بالمستشفى medical doctors and dermatologists.
حكيتوا مع حكمه؟
نعم.
حكيتوا مع حكمه؟
نعم.
متخصصين بالجلد وبامراض الجلد؟
نعم. في عندنا حكيمين بنشتغل معهم هن بالاي بي ام سي. في عندنا ادفايزر كمان بروفيسور بالاي بي ام سي.
بس حكيم الجلد الخبير برايك اذا اطلع على الجلد وشاف يعني من اللي عنده اياه اليوم بدون ما يقيم سامبل او انفيسيف ميثود برايك بحاجه لهالتول؟
هيدي كواليتيتيف اناليسيس يعني الحكيم لما يشوف بعينه از كواليتيتيف اناليسيس. نحن عم نزيد عليها كوانتيتيف اناليسيس تو ميك ات مور اكيوريت.
انا حسيت وقت اللي قال يمكن نروح للكونسيومر برودكت بالاخر it might be a good hint تيروح لعند حكيم. عرفت كيف؟ يمكن ما بتلعب دور الحكيم اكيد بس يمكن بتعطيني هنت لازم روح لعند حكيم بالاخر. بدكم تعملوا هيك بالاخر؟
So you guys, you have to take this into consideration. The time is up, but thank you for the valuable feedback. And
ما خليتوا سليم يحكي.
A short question. What is the length of the process you're going to go through till you have your product commercialized?
So until now we have a first prototype. We need a bit more research and to develop it and get the final prototype. So maximum 1 year it will be commercialized.
Well done, guys. Of course, for all the teams, all the feedback that is given is extremely priceless. So you have to take this into real consideration and think about it to improve your product. So thank you again for the judges for their feedback. For everyone who's standing in the back, there are a few seats here and there. So please come to the front to be more comfortable. Since we are an educational institution and we are dealing with student projects, it would have been weird not to have a solution in the ed-tech sector, which is very growing nowadays. Genie actually is one of these solutions, which is going to provide adaptive learning for students and remove their frustrations away. Please clap. Let's clap for Ahmad and Fatima.
Last semester, I got a new roommate at AUB. It was his first semester and he was very excited for AUB. However, halfway through the semester, he started getting stressed and depressed, eventually getting bad grades. Eventually, Amin dropped out of AUB. This is not a rare occurrence. It happens to many university students in a similar way, and it contributes a huge portion to the worldwide university problem. Around the world, about 13% of the students at the university drop out, and a good portion of that is due to bad grades and stress levels. This causes the average university to lose around $20 million worth of potential revenues, which is a huge problem for universities and for students, and Genie aims to solve this problem. Genie is an adaptive learning, web-based adaptive learning platform that personalizes learning, enables teacher insights, and prevents student failure. How it works? Simple. The teacher creates a course on Genie. She logs into Genie, she creates a course, and she adds concepts to the course based on a concept map that Genie guides her to build. She adds questions and learning materials to each concept, and that's it. Genie transforms all these inputs into an output that is an adaptive learning environment for the student. The student logs into Genie, goes through the course, and goes through the concepts. In each concept, there are learning materials that will be personalized. Genie recommends them the learning materials based on their preferences. And they take adaptive guided quizzes where Genie guides the student to answer the questions. Through that process, Genie gains a lot of insights that provide universities an understanding of student study behavior and allows them to predict and prevent student failure. Insights for teachers allow them to understand how their students are progressing and allow them to understand the knowledge gaps in the concepts for each student. Also, it helps them provide personalized midterm exams and final exams. It also provides students an understanding of how the class is progressing, allowing them to connect with the class and stay in sync with their progress. Genie taps into the learning analytics market, which is booming right now at 25% growth rate per year. It is estimated to reach $2.1 billion by 2019. How we tap into this market is we hook the early adopters by providing them with our product for one semester for free. Our early adopters are universities in the UAE and in Lebanon, and we plan to expand throughout the MENA region. Our business model is based on a licensing-based strategy where we license to universities at $5 per student per month. Our competitive landscape consists of Moodle, which is a learning management system that is currently being used at AUB, Udemy and Coursera, which are online learning platforms, Newton, which is an adaptive learning platform that is currently being used in the US, and Socrative, which is an application that allows classes to be more interactive. However, our competitive advantage is that we empower the teachers themselves to create their own adaptive courseware. We allow an active and adaptive learning process for the students, and through that process, we gain a lot of specific insights. And we are cost-effective, costing at prices similar to what AUB pays for Moodle. To tell you a little more about the people behind Genie, I am Ahmed, and I am very passionate about data science. I'm currently taking master level courses in data science, and I've worked on a lot of projects that have a lot of data. As for Fatma, she's a very talented entrepreneur and has competed in a lot of competitions, entrepreneurship competitions. Both of us have lived through the university experience and made it our main priority to make this problem go away. We currently have a functional prototype and are testing on students and teachers. We have been nominated to the Creative Achievement Award at AUB. The Chief Information Officer at AUB showed great interest in our idea, and AUB is allowing us to test our product on ongoing classes. Our plan next is to expand to other universities and test there, and for that we ask for $50,000 to be able to connect our product to the cloud, to hire developers and designers to make our product more robust, and to hire field testers to test our product at other universities. With Genie, the university experience will never be the same, and every student's wish will come true. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's my duty to start. Thank you for well, thank you for this idea. I feel that I'm gonna have more work as a professor. So you talked about the customers, but you didn't talk about the suppliers of the material. the professors? How can you force, push, incentivize the professors to adopt your product?
Good question, thank you. How we incentivize the teacher is, it is a very big initial investment to create the course and to create the content. However, this initial investment is only for one semester, and it will become easier and easier for the rest of the semesters. And the impact it gets is they gather a lot of insights from the students that allows them to enhance their course. And it allows them to understand how to improve their exams, midterms and final exams, since teachers take a lot of time to create competitive midterms and final exams. And so that is how we incentivize our teachers.
Ahmed, I might have missed something. Just why would I use Genie and not use Moodle? And what is currently the monetization model of Moodle or the other competitors?
Okay, good question. So how this is different from Moodle is the adaptive learning part, where the students can go through each concept and based on how they answer the questions, they can start getting adaptive feedback on how to answer the questions below, which guide them to answer the questions. So it's more engaging. Moodle, now, it does have an analytics side, however, it doesn't make students very engaged. So that's one aspect. And the monetization strategy for Moodle, it is open source, however, they require employees to work at the place to make a Moodle platform work for the university. And other Moodle platforms, they use a subscription-based strategy as well, which is similar to how we are providing the license. Did I answer your question?
How will you monetize? And that wasn't really answered.
Yeah, we license at $5 per student per semester.
Okay, so you said that, sorry.
Per month, sorry.
Adaptive. It's adaptive. بعرف في different learning styles. يعني الناس بحبوا more graphics, الناس بحبوا different style. Does it take this into consideration؟ يعني في شيء من النوع ولا adaptive؟ ما فهمت وين الادابتيشن أكثر وأي feature.
في two processes of adaptation on learning resources. It will be a recommender system based on what the student rates. So through the learning resources, whatever learning resource he likes or he feels he benefited a lot from, he rates it as a high level, as 5 stars, for example, or 3 stars. And based on that, and based on other students, it understands how it classifies a student as this type of student, as a student that likes mostly learning from videos instead of articles. So it starts recommending him more learning resources based on videos. And on the question side, as they go through one concept, since the teacher builds the concept map, when they answer the questions in that concept, if they feel not comfortable in answering a certain question, it goes on a lower concept and provides them a basic question that helps them solve the question in that concept.
Do you want to say anything, Fatima Ismi?
Hi, so basically the adaptive part in our project is the fact that the professor can actually detect the strengths and weaknesses of their students, and based on that, the project itself can give them a recommendation on, for example, a suggestion on when to reschedule an exam or such. Now that would be a higher level which we aim to reach at that point.
And the more the student repeats the course, the more learning it happens, and I can cater more for him, right? For her.
That poses a relative vulnerability in our product, but I would say that no, the student doesn't have to repeat the course itself, but however, we are given recommendations based on where he can start and where he can go and how he can progress within the tree.
Time is up.
Also, it retains the knowledge from one course to another, so it learns from him, and next semester it gives him. Thank you.
Thank you. So I advise the team members to switch between questions. So you help the judges with the team question because they have a criterion called team, and they need you to see how all of you answer questions. So next up is a very special trio, I'd say, who are all hardware and software geeks. They have put their technical skills into a good use to work on an optimization problem for buildings where they actually reduce their usage of energy, and thus they contribute positively to the planet. So let's welcome Internet of Buildings, or IOB.
Did I leave the AC on this morning? Some days I just go back and check. I don't want to waste energy and harm the environment, and I definitely don't want to pay extra electricity. This same problem is faced by enterprises. Energy Star estimates 30% of the monthly energy used by enterprises is wasted. There are a couple of ways where you can approach this. You can have technical rounds to make sure everything is turned off at the end of the day. You can send a memo threatening to fire everyone who does not turn off their devices, or you can hire energy auditors. Now, energy auditors would survey the buildings to find where your energy is being wasted. The problem is they take months to give you a report. This report would be estimating your energy use. They don't have solid data broken down by the room. And when they actually give you the report, sometimes the recommendations involve changes that are expensive to implement. So building owners shy away from doing that. We want to remove any excuse that prevents building owners from making their buildings greener. An Internet of Buildings, or IOB, is a solution that aims to make it more effective and efficient, less costly, and easier for building owners to optimize their energy consumption. The way we work is very simple. For a light or an AC, you have an electrical panel that connects it, or a switch. We want to take out this switch and replace it with this. This small device still acts as a switch. It also measures the power of whatever is connected to it. We install this device on every single electrical switch in the building. It connects wirelessly to our cloud server. We aggregate the data from all the devices in a building and are able to find trends and patterns to provide a customized energy saving plan for each individual building. And not only that, our device is smart enough to be able to optimize and actually implement the policies set by the building owner. We're targeting the commercial and office space industry, enterprises, education and institutions, malls and stores. And this sector alone wastes around $400 million worth of energy per year. So we think they would benefit from this device. We're starting in Lebanon, heading into the MENA region and hoping to become a global player. We're starting with pilot testing. We have a pilot test here at AUB in 2 floors of professors' offices in the Bechtel building. We're also reaching out to partners to try to do pilot testing in their buildings and to start the pilot test with a 3-month trial on which we can help get more data and optimize our features for their benefit. In the building automation and optimization market is a market estimated to be worth $100 billion by the year 2022. There are familiar players like Siemens, Schneider Electric, and Delta Controls. What they have in common is that they have a traditional building management system. You need wires and infrastructure reaching to every single data point. If you have an old building, you can forget about implementing their solution. We're special in that we do not need any infrastructure. Our devices are wireless. You can install the device yourself. It's no different than a regular electricity switch. We also give detailed information. We plug into every single device, no matter what device it is. You do not need customized adapters for the different devices that you have. And our solution is inexpensive. Rather than spending $200 on on a switch by Siemens, you can pay $20 for this. Okay, $20 can be expensive. But in this instance, we believe it's not. We believe it's a significantly reduced cost. And we believe with that, we can have a more universal solution. we're going to be giving away the devices at cost. And we're going to make money off subscription. We're having a 3-tier subscription. The basic one, on which we have the data visualization and monitoring features. The advanced one where we generate reports on energy savings. And the fully automated one where we actually implement the policies and save energy on the fly 24/7. Even though our device now is tailored to power consumption, our hardware is flexible enough and our system is flexible enough to support other kinds of measurements, like temperature readings, occupancy, and even water flow in case you want to detect a water leak in your building. This flexibility also allows us to be able to target additional markets, like the home automation market or the industrial automation market, with only minor changes in the software and the revenue model. Let me introduce the team who's building this. Ahmed, who's an avid security architect and going very deep into it, computer security enthusiast. Shakir, who's been working on machine learning projects since his second year at AUB. And myself, I'm Samir. I breathe hardware. I co-founded AUB Robotics Club in my first year here at AUB, and I've barely had a good night's sleep ever since. And we know, with our team, we can bring this into the market, and we can make this a successful company.
Samir, I'm sorry, but the time is up.
Okay.
So we'll move to the questions.
هلا ليش سميتوه انترنت اوف بيلدينج؟ يعني مثلا اذا هلا انا حطيت سنسرز على بقر بصير سمي انترنت اوف كاوز مثلا؟ انه في سمارت بيلدينجز رايت؟ في بيلدينج مانجمنت سيستم اوتوميشن يو نيم ات. ليش رحتوا انترنت اوف بيلدينج وشو الفرق بين هيدي وبين سمارت بيلدينجز؟
هلا our solution it's an IoT style solution. We thought that was a play on words. Now we're using IoT for building management systems rather than using traditional BMS-based like the serial protocols that they have. This is why we think we are special, and this is how we think we can provide it for the world. في smart buildings فيهم wireless systems because they're not as widespread, especially in the region, and we believe that they need special devices and special routers.
And how do you deal with KNX or EIB-enabled buildings? KNX or EIB-enabled buildings.
For example, KNX and EIB, they need wiring for each switch. We do it wireless.
No, but what if the building is already using KNX or things like this? Can your system plug into that?
Yeah, actually our system can have virtual devices which connect to other building management systems, which can also be HVAC systems which have their own backnet. But we want to accommodate them on the software.
I need just to understand a bit the process.
Yes.
If I have an old building that I want to revamp and install your system,
yes.
This building is already wired.
Yes.
What's the advantage of using your device?
Yeah.
Because if I'm putting it instead of a plug, I have to remove a plug.
Yes.
And just wire this. Do I have or no? Did I understand wrong?
Yes, you
So you have to remove the plug.
Yes.
And replace it by this wireless device which will be monitoring and be able to control it smartly. But you still have to wire it, no?
It would be wired in the same place that the socket would be.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And from there you're able just to control the electricity.
We're able to
like if it's an EIB system or a smart system that's already there,
yes,
it's not your target.
No,
your target is.
Yes. We're targeting mainly corporations that do not have intelligent systems in place, and we want to make it more accessible by lowering costs.
So, and if I'm building a new building,
yes,
would I go directly to your system, or would I choose already one of the smart available systems, EIB, KNX, or like other? And comparative in price. Just I'm trying, like, is your target mainly is upgrading old buildings to save on energy, or like new buildings and introduce the smart wireless devices into new buildings? That's my question.
For old buildings, we have the advantage and we're way less capital intensive. For new buildings, we believe we also have the advantage of that we're designed to be put into every single plug without additional wiring, without incurring additional costs in the process. We believe that we'll still be lower cost than traditional KNX and EIB solutions.
Okay, two quick questions. Is your solution complete to reach the efficiencies that people want to reach in energy savings? And in smart cities and IoTs, yes, energy is the low-hanging fruit to make an impact on efficiencies and savings. But I think only on-off power is not complete. Maybe you need access control, motion detection, temperature in order to know when to switch on and off, right?
Yeah, of course. Actually, another part of our product is that we do not only have the energy monitoring, we can also have sensors for temperature, for occupancy, and we also integrate with systems, following up on the question. We also integrate with the access control systems to be able to provide a complete...
It's too hard, on-off.
It does not, yes, we need more information about the building to make more detailed...
To build these dashboards or whatever you want to give the client.
Yes.
What IoT technology are you using? LoRa? IoT, how are you connecting them wireless?
We're connecting using Wi-Fi. Yeah,
Wi-Fi.
All right, thank you guys. We have to move. Is it a critical question?
Yeah. Of course, at the end of the day, we have the version 1 of our product, but we do not have the complete picture that allows for large-scale production and deployment. So this is our cost breakdown. We need to hire more people, more experts to be able to accelerate the development. We need to be able to manufacture our own hardware on large scale in China. And we also would be needing to have the traditional company establishment cost, corporation cost.
Thank you guys and best of luck. Now, as I mentioned before, this accelerator program is 0 credit, no grades. But if it had been graded, I would give the upcoming group the highest grade. Because they were extremely serious about all the sessions. They nearly did not miss a session. They were extremely receptive for all the feedback that they received. And most importantly, their pitching has improved from a little bit above 0 to above 90. So please welcome Flo.
Most of you are probably wondering why you're looking at Homer Simpson. Well, Mr. Simpson resembles a regular employee nowadays working at an enterprise. So let's think of the following scenario. Homer would like to take a couple of days off to spend time with his lovely family. He prepares a leave form and submits it. And as with any other regular enterprise, that form will have to pass across multiple levels of approval before getting to a final decision. The sole process of submission and approval of forms is a slow and ineffective one, mainly due to delays that happen at every approval level whenever an approval is notified at an inappropriate time, leading them to postpone viewing a pending form and even possibly giving a biased decision. Think of what might happen if Homer's form is forgotten by an approval, or if it is rejected because of personal issues with Mr. Simpson. Homer will get frustrated. Well, this is where Flow comes in. Our idea is to provide enterprises with a form workflow system packaged in a mobile and web application that not only adds convenience at the approval level using mobile apps, but also makes the process faster, more secure, and helps avoid any bias that might happen. But how do we do that? Well, our applications will learn from the responses of approvers to notifications what times are most suitable for them to view pending forms and notify them accordingly. Our applications will also recommend to an approver what their decision on a certain form should be. Let's reconsider Mr. Simpson's case. He submits a form, and every approver is now notified when they are free and able to view it, hence avoiding any time delays that might happen. Every approver is given a recommendation on what they should decide on the form, hence reducing any bias that might happen. Homer will be a happy employee. Based on a recent market report by Markets and Markets, the market size for workflow management systems is estimated to reach $9.87 billion by 2021 in the US alone. According to our research, businesses that need a solution like Flow are medium to large-sized ones, aiming at optimizing the management of forms and limiting the amount of opinionated decisions on such forms. To reach those businesses, We're planning on setting up meetings with a number of potential customers that we've identified to demonstrate our prototype, show them how it differs from whatever existing solutions they might have, and sign them up for testing our beta version. Flow follows a subscription-based business model, with prices ranging from $6.5 to $9 per user per month. And we're currently setting up multiple packages that our potential customers can choose from, depending on the size of their business or the number of employees in the department they want to provide Flow to. KissFlow and Oracle are two very important competitors of Flow. Oracle provides enterprises with a business process management software, and KissFlow provides them with a workflow management system. Both of these companies provide a system that allows enterprises to create user-friendly applications that their employees can use very easily. What they do not provide is an intelligent system that knows exactly when to notify an approver of a pending form, that recommends to that approver what their decision on the form should be, and that secures the whole approval process using multi-factor authentication. I've talked about Flow, but not yet about the team working hard to bring it to life. We're a group of 3 computer and communication engineers working together on every technical aspect of Flow to make sure we deliver our idea in the best way possible. Our team needs business expertise, and for that, we're currently recruiting further team members to help us in tackling the business aspect. Our work on Flow started as part of our final year project, which is sponsored by a cybersecurity startup based in the US called Accepto. Excitedly, Accepto have shown interest in the prototype we're almost done with, and we're currently discussing further collaboration beyond the FYP as well. Since we know that form workflow systems used at AUB, we're currently working on making our prototype integratable into its environment to test and validate it completely. To bring Flow to life, we need an investment of $100,000, an amount that will allow us to complete the first working version of Flow, including the legal fees we need to set up our company. With Flow, your form workflow processes will no longer be slow. Thank you.
It's using a full-fledged comprehensive solution. Would your application complement the existing solutions, or it will be a parallel system that we have to learn how to deal with in conjunction with other existing systems?
Okay, so it has to work in parallel with other systems, because our system is mainly focused on forms. So every form workflow in a business that uses Oracle, our system replaces that specific aspect of the form workflows.
I see it more as a feature than a product. How are you going to expand your software to make it more compelling as a business proposition?
So basically, what we have in mind is starting with the form workflow, and we haven't discussed yet how we will change it or make it bigger. So we're focusing specifically on the forms aspect. And if we want to,
now what we have is that we have two things that the competitive advantage over the other companies. We have two major points. The first one is the recommendation that we, for example, when a form comes to approval to approve, he can, based on previous responses from this person, we give him recommendations. This is currently not they're not features in other companies. And another thing is the notification time. So we plan to be able to find the right timing, the best timing for the approver to be able to approve.
And do you plan on expanding this beyond forms? Because this could be applicable to other things.
Right. For now, we're sticking to the workflow forms.
Oh, and one more thing, pricing. How did you calculate the pricing? $9 a user, $6.5 a user. How did you calculate the pricing?
Well, we had the slide. We looked to the competitors as well as the cost that we already have. The cost.
معود واحد بيطلب مني شيء بقول له شو بدك تعطيني. انت طلبت مني $100,000 ايامته شركتكم تعطيني نصها انه بدك مني $100,000 ما بينشو.
Okay, so we had the slide that we had salaries for us, for example, for a week, the legal fee, the legal.
خلي هاتوا عنده جواب احسن اعطيه.
We didn't yet get the face value of the company, how much it is, to be able to decide on what's the percentage that is relevant to the $100,000. But the number that basically we decided on was explained on how, but what's going to be in return for this, we have not yet. When we get the face value of this, we can discuss how much is the percentage of the company.
يعني ما سألت بقية الجروبس هالسؤال لأنه ما حسيتهم ريدي، بس أنتوا عم تحكوا موضوع كتير ريليفنت لهالموضوع. يعني عم تحكوا عن process optimization للبزنس، فالمفترض تكون عندكم أجوبة أكثر. هيك مرة تاني.
So very well done, guys. The valuation session was just like the last session that FYP Accelerator. They didn't get to do the exercise because most of them, they're still testing their prototypes. So now we're going to move to a panel with the judges. So please, if you can sit down on the chairs, and Elias will moderate the panel. We're going to ask them questions that I believe the audience is interested to know the answers for, as well as the teams of the FYP Accelerator.
Thank you, Mona. Hi, everyone. So I hope you're not too tired, and I assume you are really thankful that you're not the ones facing the judges with the questions. So now we're going to have a panel on education, so the future of education and how to connect universities to the startup ecosystem. So we're going to start with Dr. Fuad. You really live up to your reputation of a tough judge in Stars of Science. I mean, given your position in Stars of Science, I would like to, where you were able to see all the different innovation coming up from different parts of the Arab world and over the different years that Stars of Science has been there. Could you tell us if the reputation that the Lebanese education system has, that it is really at the forefront of the Arab world and its talent is really different from what's available there. Is this reputation really still valid, and is the Arab world catching up with and closing the gap?
اوكي ما زالت الجامعات اللبنانية والأيوبية خاصة بتمثل أفضل ما في بالمنطقة العربية أكيد. ومن الكاستنج والتورز اللي عم نعملهم بالدول العربية بكل ثقة بقول إنه أفضل ما يقدمه العرب بمجال العلوم والابتكار هو طالع من لبنان من الجامعة الأمريكية بالضبط. هلا بآخر 10 سنين شغلات كتير صارت بآخر 10 سنين مثل ما بتعرفوا، يعني من السمارت فون مطلوع، من الواتساب وكمان بالدول العربية صار في انشيتيفز كتير مهمة للابتكار ولتسخير العلوم من أجل التنمية بصراحة، والاقتصاد المعرفي وعناوين سياسية كتير كبيرة ما بدنا نعدد الدول عم يسموها، وخطط 2025 و2030 و2024 الأرقام كلها غطوها. أنا بقول لك الدول العربية مثل مصر مثلا دولة كتير كبيرة 100 مليون اليوم، قريبا جدا رح تشوف مصر بمرتبات أهم بكتير من لبنان بالجلوبال انوفيشن اندكس، بالكومبتitiveness اندكس، لأنه ماشيين بخطط سريعة. وأنا أعطي مصر لأنه هو أصعب مثل، يمكن مثلا أعطي قطر أو البحرين يمكن أهين حجم البلد. بقى كسل المنظومة الوطنية بلبنان والسياسي بلبنان والدولي بلبنان رح ينعكس علينا قريبا بمجالات كثيرة خارجة عن سيطرة الجامعات بصراحة. يعني من شهر فقط بمصر عن آتي أصدروا قانون اسمه تحفيز الابتكار والتكنولوجيا والعلوم. قانون أخذهم 3 أشهر درسوه وأقروه، وكل ما بتستحلوه بالقانون موجود بقلب. يعني أنتم كباحثين كمبتكرين كعلماء كله موجود بالقانون، من الجمرك للضرائب، كل شيء بتفكر فيه معقول تسهيل الانوفيشن والريسيرش بالدول العربيه محطوط بالقانون المصري. تصور انه حشروا الوزير بده يعطيك بند بس من القانون، بيقولوا له للوزير المصري بقلب القانون اذا مرقوا 30 يوم وما وافقت على اعفاء الجامعه الامريكيه من الضريبه ومن الجمرك اللي هو عم يستعمل على الات في البروتوتايبنج او بالريسيرش، اذا مرق 30 يوم وما ردت يعتبر الجامعه معفيه.
وهالقانون بكفي كرمال تو كاسكيد داون يعني ويقدروا يعملوا كاتش اب للجاب.
بفتكر رح يعملوا كاتش اب للجاب لانه صار في باشن عند الشباب العرب والشباب المصري المتواصل وكونكتد كثير، وصار في تيمز، وانا عم اقول لك متفائل شو في بمصر وشو في بالمغرب وشو في بتونس. على المستوى الفردي مثل ما بتعرفوا بلبنان شيء كثير حلو، مثل ما طلع السنه الماضيه وينه فؤاد مقصود اذا تصور وراح. على المستوى الشخصي في عنا امثله كثير كبيره، بس اكيد كبلد نحن بالرغم من كل شيء عم نعمله، وسيركل 331 عمل كثير نفخه كبيره، بس بدنا مثل سيركل 331 بالجامعات اللبنانيه، في احتقان كبير للطاقات اللبنانيه بقلب هالجامعات. وانا هلا قالت لي منى انه زيرو كريدت على هيدا الاكسلريتور، وكمان الشباب والاساتذه فيقدروا يعملوا شغلات ريليتد للتكنولوجي ترانسفير والانوفيشن مش محسوبه ابدا بالبروموشن بوليسي تبعهم، ما رح يكونوا متحمسين يعملوها، رح يعملوها كخدمه، مش رح يكونوا جزء من عملهم الاساسي. فنحن بحاجه الى سيركل 331 بنظام الجامعات اللبنانيه.
Thank you. Henri, I wanted to ask you, as an investor that has invested and supported also many startups coming up at the university like NAR, how do you recommend the startups that are coming out freshly from universities to close the gap in terms of maturity, of network, of job experience?
When you're at university, you have a big opportunity. You're in an environment that allows you to focus on your work. And it gives you all sorts of perks and resources. When I was at university, I had access to fast internet, I had all these kinds of things, so I could start building up my company while at university. When you're out in the real world, you start getting all sorts of problems, from the legal issues to the offices to everything else. So what you need to do at university is ensure that if you want to become an entrepreneur and if you really want to be one and not say you're one, entrepreneurship is difficult, it's painful, and it's not for everybody. But if you really want to hurt yourself for the next 10, 20 years, start hurting at university right away and use the maximum capacity of the university. Eat up everything it has to offer, and I think AUB has a lot to offer, and all the other universities here have a lot to offer. So use all the resources, the professors, the labs, everything possible before you get out. Because once you're out, it's a lot harder to achieve what you have at university.
So as an investor, having a startup coming out of university is not something like you wouldn't be more careful when you invest in them. On the contrary, if they have used at the right time, the right resources, it might even be a push.
I don't care if it comes out of university or it comes out of a garage or anything. What I do care about is the state of mind of the entrepreneurs. So if I see a team coming out of university that has squeezed all the possible opportunities it had while at university, I'm going to be extremely excited, and I'm going to really like the way they work. If I see a team that says, well, I did this end-of-year project and I kind of want to do this thing, and well, I don't know yet, but give me some money, I'm not really interested.
Awesome, thank you. Mohammed, so you have built in just 6 years, Beirut district, which is the hub today of everything happening in the startup ecosystem. I would like to hear your vision in terms of how to bridge the gap between the output of talent in the universities and the talent required by the tenants and the community members that are in fast growth mode.
So, going back when we launched BDD, one of the main things that we always saw BDD is, and Lebanon, as a production hub that can serve the region, the Middle East, North Africa, and Europe. And why is that? Because Lebanon enjoys a great pool of talent that is graduating from the universities. That's why we always highlighted its location at the center and being surrounded by the great universities, AUB, USG, LAU, and many others around Lebanon. So how to be able to attract these talents, and one of the major problems that all startups in the ecosystem face is access to the right talent. And for that, we have 3 programs. One that we launched last year in collaboration with the faculty of the Maroun Sam'an Faculty of Engineering and Architecture at AUB, which was the first year, which is the internship program. And we opened the internship positions at our companies at BDD, and we hosted 30 students in 15 companies. We increased this program this year to the business school, to the computer science faculty at AUB, to the LAU, to the ALBA, to the IEEE engineering, and we have for this summer more than 90 positions in 30 companies, and we have more than 450 CVs that have applied. And this, what does it give it? It gives the student the opportunity to see what's happening in the ecosystem, what are the innovations in the startups, and potentially go back on their final year projects, work on ideas that are generated by these companies, or potentially being employed by these companies and go back to the ecosystem. So that's one. The second one is job portal. Job portal of all our talent in collaboration with the universities to really match the graduating talents to the needs of the startup communities. The fourth, as we said, for the final year project, and similar to these startups, we collaborated with the Faculty of Engineering, and we said we're willing to offer them the mentorship needed and potentially within a selection panel, the space needed to be at BDD, to be properly mentored, to take their idea forward and become a company.
Which was also part of this program. So we did 1 week of intensive bootcamp in BDD in January, along with a network of mentors in BDD.
And final thing, now we're launching BDD Academy. And for us, BDD Academy should bridge the gap between academia and business, and should fill the gaps that are currently needed by the startups on soft skills and technical skills. It takes time sometimes to change curriculums due to the bureaucracy of the universities, and if possible, if we can help outside the universities in giving some technical courses or soft courses that will make the talents more employable and help the startups fill this gap of talent, that's what we're trying to do.
Thank you. Nadim, so as Touch, you are a great supporter of the startup ecosystem. In any event we are, including this one, you are sponsoring different events and launching different programs. Can you tell us a bit about how this is reflecting on your business? So you mentioned during the opening speech, the CSR part. So it is done mainly for CSR and giving back, or do you really see that this work with startups is helping you mitigate the disruption that telcos are facing, or helping you find the new revenue streams?
Yeah, I think telcos in general are in crisis more existential problems. We need to remain relevant, right? And our business, like I said before, of selling minutes, megabytes, and SMS is almost over. So we always, we need these new business models, these new digital services. And Anghami being here is great because it's a great success story for Touch, selling Anghami bundles to our customers. And Anghami is a local startup. So we think what happened with Anghami as the ultimate solution to the problems we have, and how we can engage the ecosystem in a really profitable manner.
Any number that you can share, for example, of the impact of working with startups and Anghami had done on the usage of data?
Today there are 25,000 Anghami customers on the Touch network that probably yield more than 100K a month in terms of revenue. So don't quote me on the numbers, this is ballpark figures, but this is a great example of where this could go. And what Touch is doing is this Touch Innovation Program that I talked about of six entrepreneurs every 6 months opening our network and see where we can go with this. When it comes to academia, I love what Dr. Aisi said, where he said that you want to graduate startups and entrepreneurs. Because the way we look at the evolution of employees, like our fathers started as organization people. They went, they worked for one family, they were loyal all their lives. Then you move to the knowledge worker, which has some sort of skill. Now we need more entrepreneurial employees, I would say. And even part of our Touch innovation program, to build this entrepreneurial spirit, we had mentors from Touch work with the entrepreneurs so they can rub off some of their culture, I guess.
Awesome, thank you. Selim, so you are leading currently the efforts of AUB in building the AUB Innovation Park. And with the goal of incubating the next Little Bits, Instabit, Rodituner, Moodfit, etc., coming out of AUB. So how do you plan to promote the creation of startups led by teams from different backgrounds? Let's say teams having an engineer, a business person in them, having maybe an anthropologist or a designer. I mean, how much is it on top of your agenda, and how do you plan to get there?
Well, you know, faculty members at the AUB, they all have a side business that we call research. So I'm going to use my one of my current research papers and tell you a story to maybe make a convincing case. One of the dilemma we deal with as entrepreneurs is whether we want to be a poor king or a rich member of a top management team, right? In one of my current papers, I'm looking at the founder-led initial public offerings in the US markets, 98, 2013, and roughly what I see is that 30% of my CEOs are founders, let's say, have backgrounds in medical sciences, they are scientists, 30% are business people, and the remaining are engineers and mostly have an MBA degree. Now, when you look at that, this is a sign of success when you reach that level in terms of IQ. I took randomly one of my companies and looked at it, Riverbed Technology. This company was created in 2002 as a collaboration between two people. One founder is a professor of electrical engineering computer science at University of California, Berkeley, and the other one is a former CFO, Hewlett Packard, Cybers, etc., etc. So they joined their effort together and created that company. Few months after, they were joined by a venture capitalist, Axel Ventures. I'm sure people who are in the industry, they know about them. Few other venture capitalists throughout the following years. 2006, they went public at a value of $650 million. The founders kept around 11% each of the share ownership. The venture capitalist and the top management team held the remaining. The company went into ups and downs, acquired businesses, etc. In 2014, the company went private, acquired by a private equity fund at $3.7 billion. So tell me about this combination of skills, human capital, expertise, and knowledge between a business person with an MBA degree, an electrical engineer, computer science professor at the university, who started with this business, I'm sure you can imagine, with little means, and then grew up the business in about 10 years to become a $3.7 billion. Let us dream together that within this region, AUB could do similar experiences.
And you're working on making the dream come true. I hope.
With your support, I'm sure we can make something.
Okay, thank you so much.
سوري بدي اقول لكم شغله انه انا عم احكي بالعربي on purpose يعني بحكي انجليزي منيح بس عم احكي بالعربي to deliver message لكم نقول انه فعلا بالعالم العربي منتظر منا نلعب دور كثير كبير باستخدام الديجيتال Arabic كونتنت لانه العربي يعني المحتوى الرقمي العربي في بزنس كثير كبيره للستارت ابس كثير كبيره بالسوشيال انوفيشن بالذكاء الاصطناعي نحكي كله عربي كمان artificial intelligence سو بالناتشرال لانجويج بروسيسنج يعني في بزنس كثير كبيره وفجوه فرصه هاي الفجوه منا تحدي ولنا نقص هيدي الفجوه الموجوده فرصه كثير كبيره لكم كلكم انه تساهموا فيها وتعملوا فيها بزنس. وباللغه العربيه هذا هو المطلوب بعالمنا العربي. بصراحه في فجوه كبيره وانتم لازم تلعبوا دور فيه. شكرا. So now we'll have we're moving to have 3 more pitches. Thank you so much.
All right, so now we are going to continue with the pitching. We have 3 more groups to go. About Fuad, I have a joke I want to tell you. So whenever we were telling the students that Dr. Fuad Murad is coming as a judge, they directly think it's Fuad Maqsood for some reason. And they say, oh yeah, we know him. Like, no, you don't know him. He's the top judge on Stars of Science. I'm like, oh, okay. So now you know what we're talking about. All right, so now we're going to move on to a very special group. And I believe that the best startups are the ones which start from a personal story, from a personal inspiration. And this group is about that. So we have now Anis, Zaki, Raja, and Ziyad, who actually got inspired by a personal story from one of their relatives and are now building a stand-up device, a lifting and walking device for the elderly and people in need. Please welcome Stand Aid.
Hello. How many of us in this room today have someone in their family who has trouble standing up or walking? Well, due to that, we were inspired to do some first-hand research on the number of people that have trouble walking. The results were shocking. A large percentage of families pay a huge amount of money for private nurses and nursing homes. Hospitals hire a significant number of nurses for patient care. And the most shocking discovery was the number of nurses complaining about back injuries due to heavy lifting of patients. As a result, we came up with Stand Aid. Stand Aid is a fully automated device that also doubles up as a walker. Stand Aid consists of handles for the user to hold on to. It also consists of vertical and horizontal pistons that have attachments at the end that are attached below the thighs and behind the back and move simultaneously to lift its user. Stand Aid also was designed in order to give its user the ability to stand up independently without the use of any helping hand. Moving into the market, we aim at selling to hospitals first, and then moving on to nursing homes and individuals. Finally, reaching governments. The global personal mobility device market is currently above $6 billion and is increasing at a rate of 9% a year. Moreover, with speculation that it will reach 12.7 billion by 2023. Now, we aim to reach our customers by partnering up with hospitals, starting with AUBLC, which I've already spoken with, when we're now discussing testing Stand Aid at their hospital. Moreover, the majority of my team came from the UAE, which is why we were able to meet with high government officials in the UAE and discuss testing Stand Aid in governments all over the country. Stand Aid will retail at $600 per device, and we will also be providing our customers with maintenance contracts in order to ensure safety. Now, if you look into the market today, you can find the basic walkers that simply give this user the ability to walk. Moreover, you can find personal nurses that are very very costly to hire. And you can also find complicated devices that require a second individual to operate and are also very expensive. Stand Aid gives its user the ability to stand up with absolutely no effort. Moreover, it gives them the ability to walk with ease. It is safe, easy to use, eliminates dependency, and most importantly, it's affordable. Now, let me introduce to you the team behind Standard. We're a group of 4 mechanical engineers, Zaki Ghassan, Anis Mashtoul, Rajai Mughrabi, and myself. We have a strong technical background in control systems and machine design. As I already said, we've already contacted ABMC. We have strong contacts with high government officials in the UAE, and we're currently discussing sponsorship with a regional medical device company. In order for us to reach our first product, we need $200,000 due for company costs and patenting, and most importantly, research and development. With Standard, we aim to give every person in need the ability to gain his independence back. And I would be glad to answer any further inquiries on my personal email. Thank you.
No, thank you. The concept is very clear. I personally understand the problem and so the need, the solution that you're providing. But still my question is about this initial investment that is required. You're mentioning $200,000. You plan to offer maintenance, so after sales service. Do you think that this is enough? You're going to go into manufacturing, production, and sales? And then how do you plan to expand?
First, with the respect to research and development, we're gonna spend a lot of money on that because a lot of optimization and simulation will be needed. In addition to that, we're also focusing on the weight to strength ratio. We require our machine to be a very low weight in order to be easily movable and mobile, and at the same time, we need it to be able to lift heavy patients that are more than 150 kilograms, if that allows.
I'd also like to add that about the maintenance contract, it's not actual maintenance, it's only like a preventive maintenance. So it's only just to ensure and guarantee the safety of users at all times. It's like what happens with an elevator. It has a maintenance contract, it's not necessarily broken, but just to ensure that there's always safety of the users at all times. So it's not maintenance because of the fault in the product.
And in addition to that, we're planning also the first year to have a free maintenance for all users after we begin the startup. We're planning the first year to be free maintenance, and we're not going to charge any maintenance, so that further on we can gain our revenues from the maintenance and as well from selling our product.
Question on the product. Did you think of doing a prototype? You're mechanical engineer, you're design engineer. Like how long would it take with the design to try to go and for just one product, because it's a product type, hardware is only an iterative procedure to try to improve it. So
currently we're on our second prototype. We came up with a first prototype. However, we found that a larger area for improvement was available. So we're currently working on our second prototype, which we should be done with very soon.
Okay. And how much does it cost you, the prototype?
Now, after optimization, we could sell it for $600.
So it cost you $600?
With
a bit less.
A bit less. Obviously.
If you want to make 10 out of these, that's $6,000.
Yes.
I would advise you, try to do 10. And then start pitching for people that this is the product. Like you'll be good enough to try at least to have an advanced prototype to be able to show him what you're going to do with the product. It's just, it's a note.
Thank you. Did you test the prototype on people who have difficulty walking, and what was the results?
The first prototype didn't work out. There was a failure in the parts, so we had to optimize it. But now we're currently doing our second prototype. It's according to the stress analysis that we did in the FYP, it should be completely safe and completely secure. And we currently will finish the prototype by the beginning of next month.
But this is a major milestone for you to get the satisfaction from the users, actually.
So the next pitch is very special because this is not a hardware and not a software. What is it? You're gonna know more from Elias, Baha, and Aitanis from Woody.
In August 2017, Torch Tower in Dubai burned due to flammable claddings. 2 months prior, the same incident happened in the Grenfell Tower in London. Now, when we mention fire, the first material that comes to our mind is wood, the material that fills this room, from floorings to ceilings to walls. But when we talk about wood, it's not only its beautiful appearance that we should take into consideration, we should also look at its drawbacks. From flammability to corrosivity, being expensive, its contribution to deforestation, and don't ever think that your beautiful wood is going to look the same after a rainy day. My name is Baha, and I'm the co-founder of Woody. Woody is the first of its kind, eco-friendly and durable cladding material. With a combination of marble powder with resin and additives, we have created a product that looks exactly like wood, but has the mechanical properties of marble. That is, it is non-flammable, it is durable, it is made of recycled marble slabs that makes it eco-friendly, and most importantly, it's versatile. That is, it could be molded into different shapes and colors, such as this prototype that we have done, where we molded Woody into a 2-meter arc. Now, we have done our homework, and we have found that there's a $175 billion cladding market worldwide, $14 billion of which are in the MENA region, and $200 million are in Lebanon. We aim to tap into this market by contacting our early adopters, such as building contractors, property developers, and private villa owners. And thankfully, we have successfully achieved our first project for a private villa owner in the mountain. Not only our client was astonished when she couldn't differentiate our product from wood itself, but she also got the same product she had in plan with much less cost. Now, in addition to that project, we have successfully won the first prize in the Lira competition in the materials and nanotechnology field. And we have been selected as finalists in the Darwaza Student Innovation Competition here at AB. Now, executing projects from A to Z, such as pergolas or claddings, Woody is able to sell at $100 per meter square. Now, that price sounds much better when we compare it to the price of the most durable type of wood, such as the West African Iroko or the North American cedar, that costs 3 times as much, or when we compare it to aluminum claddings that cost twice as much. Now, we are a team of 4 mechanical engineers with a specialty in material science, and each of us has a set of skills that allowed us to reach where we are today and be the best team fit for this product. And in the past 7 months, we have been doing continuous testing on our product to find the best formula fit for it. And we have reached a formula that allows our product to bend under force. And for the next step, we aim to take our product and have certified testing with the help of a third party. Now, we aim to take Woody out into the market by participating in construction exhibitions such as the Big 5 in Dubai, opening our personal showroom to showcase our product so that people can come and view it live, and obviously, we will be using performance marketing to develop our online platform so that people can view our product online. Now, we would like to further develop our product, undertake more projects, and obviously get it patented. Thus, we ask for $100,000 in seed fund that would cover a 12-month runway, and it will be divided into 20% material cost and 80% operation cost. And be sure that Woody is the first of its kind, eco-friendly and durable material that will set the future of cladding systems. Thank you.
You said you put plastics in it?
Excuse me?
You put plastics in it?
No.
You don't?
It's made of marble, resin, and additives.
Okay, resin.
Yeah.
What's the weight?
Excuse me?
The weight.
The weight?
Yeah.
The weight of our product is currently irrespective of the projects that we do. However, even if it's heavy, All cladding systems have support behind them.
What's the density?
Excuse me, the density is 3.15 grams per centimeter cubed.
Thank you.
I thought it's heavy or not.
Why did you select cladding as your target? You've done some numbers. From that numbers, like you mentioned, it's just a comment. From the target, which was, I believe, 200 million in Lebanon or in Lebanon. Yeah. How much did you estimate usually today clad with wood? Is this cladding with wood or just general cladding? Because like I'm your client. I'm one of that. I'm in the development business. But like if you're targeting the 200 million, I would assume this number is currently, if on a yearly basis, is everything related to cladding. And I personally see wooden cladding, even in Europe, being used in very cold weather areas, which is mainly mountainous areas, and you don't see it anymore being used in any building developments, or at least very little use. So I'm trying to see potentially if, just from a positioning perspective, if you want to try to position your product as a replacement to wood, where it's used more, which is flooring, potentially, interiors, potentially, decorative, pergolas, so on and so forth, as you mentioned. That's one. The second, just on the flammability issue, that's going back on the cladding. The reason for the fire in Dubai, and most of them, are not the cladding, but it's the waterproofing behind the cladding. And that's the material, that's the flammable material, which is dangerous. So just like, and that's going back, why cladding?
A nice stroll in the Verdun, you just see a bunch of buildings having wooden claddings. Wooden claddings are quite penetrative in the Lebanese market and in the Gulf market in general. Now we target MENA in particular because MENA is tree poor. So we do not need, we import almost all of our wood. And so what we're doing is we're manufacturing our own wood resembling product that is 3 times less in cost and has better mechanical properties. That's for your first question. Second question, could you please...
Why cladding?
Why cladding in particular? The flooring market in general is oversaturated with ceramics, porcelain, and quite a lot of products. Cladding offers first of all, it's a better business venture in terms of pricing. Yep.
Sorry, I just want to add something that after the fires that happened in Dubai and in London, there's a major movement towards editing the fire and the safety codes, especially in the UAE. And this is it's a trend that's going to happen, and so the market is opening, and there's a huge opportunity for us to enter this market. So that's the answer to your question.
The cladding in Dubai, the reason was in flames is because of the combustible material in between the aluminum cladding materials. Now, we're targeting the wooden claddings market, right? Wood claddings and wood in the interior apartments contribute to the spread of fire. So that's where we come in. We're replacing that.
And for your other question, where you mentioned wood in the very cold weather, when we put wood in a very cold weather and we expose it to atmospheric changes, we need to add coating to it. With coating comes maintenance. So our product uses less maintenance, of course, and will cost much less. So that the wood they use is true, they use it. However, if you want to use it exteriorly, you have to cover it with exterior paint.
Final question, just and then pass to my colleagues. Instead of wood, can you imitate other type of material, like concrete, gold, whatever, just to make it decorative types of material, or no?
Yes, we can, because our manufacturing process is used by casting. So what we have done is we've reached a formula via casting that produced wood.
We can make sculptures.
How does your product, how do you differentiate your product from ceramic like wood? I've seen wood that is ceramic. I mean, what would be the difference here?
Well, ceramics, first of all, is easily, it's not ductile. It can be easily broken. even if it's false. Our product, as I showed with the testing that we have done, it can be bent with under force. Thus, it eliminates that aspect. Added to that, it's eco-friendly. So we use recycled marble slabs from the industry that they throw away. Between ceramics and... I don't have the price of ceramics on.
Because they're not our direct competitors. We're targeting the cladding market. So aluminum and timber, such as the West African Morocco and North American cedar are mainly our competitors.
مين منكم مختص بالمواصفات الهندسية؟ كلكم؟ والأخوة عيتاني معكم؟
نعم.
طيب للأخوة عيتاني خلي شوي واحد ما سمعنا صوته يركز.
Yes, fine.
ليك شو هي أهم مواصفة specification يعني أهم شيء مش رح أحكيك density قبل شوي بس شو هي أهم شيء بتميزك بطريقة تنافسية مقابل كل other options لا مش density أعطيني أهم specification engineering that would is it مثلا green is it water resistant is it
strength of the material
شو
strength of the material
strength of the material أحسن من الماربل أحسن من الخشب أحسن من الألومنيوم أحسن من الحجر تعرف بلبسوا حجر أوكي
لأنه نحن usually let's say بمناطق فيهم harsh weather conditions بيصير في failure of the material due to let's say thermal expansion فعايزين our material to be strong enough كرمال to withstand this load.
So thermal
it fractures usually in harsh weather conditions due to thermal expansions.
So أنتم هيدي المواصفة اللي بتميزكم تنافسيا أحسن من كل الأوبشنز الثانية.
Can withstand more force.
أوكي وبالنسبة لل green manufacturing يعني عم نحكي عن worry about sustainability بيئة والعزل والخواص متعلقة بال so that we don't have a building that consumes too much energy. تعرفوا ال green requirement lead. Can you tell us a little bit about this?
نحن basically عم use recycled marble. We pulverize the marble that usually goes to waste. We're using this marble powder. And we add resin, which is biodegradable. So basically, our final product can be reused, can be recycled and reused.
I'm going to continue with the same line of questions and ask you from a critical eye, what is the main drawback of your product? Is it a perfect one or there are weaknesses?
Of course, every product has weaknesses. However, with our testing, we are eliminating these weaknesses. For example, one of the weaknesses that we have is that at very large lengths, our product is vulnerable to crack because the formula that we started with is different than the formula that we have now. So our product in any cladding system, it gets supported with steel bars that are behind it. These steel bars, when they heat up, they expand. Thus, when they expand, this tile breaks. So with our new formula, we have eliminated this crack issue by adding the additives that we have. Thus, when it expands with it and contracts with it.
Thank you guys and best of luck. So we have only one team to go. And this team is working on a very innovative marketplace. Of course, we have lots of marketplaces out there, but this is special. And Dimitri, along with Karen, will tell us more about it. Please welcome Min Baiti.
Have you ever wanted to turn your creations into your own business, right from the comfort of your home? Make something that you're good at in your room, kitchen, garage, and make some money? Min Baiti will make this a reality. Min Baiti is the online marketplace specifically designed for small businesses. And by small businesses, we are talking about the people who design and customize hats, accessories, clothes, and cakes and sell them. Min Baiti's core and most innovative feature is the advanced customization tool that allows users to graphically customize their products in an unseen before precision and accuracy. This way, we are enabling buyers to make products that completely match their taste.
We promised you earlier to create your own business right from your home. So this is why we will be outsourcing secure online payment and the convenient delivery system, and thus relieving you from one of the biggest concerns and barriers to home businesses. Here are snapshots of our mobile application. You can see the beautiful design of our sign-in page, newsfeed, and profiles. And here are some snapshots from the advanced customization tool with two main applications in progress. On the left, we are designing a custom cake for my mom's upcoming birthday. As you can see, we have created a simple design, yet a powerful one, as you can access and customize your product layer by layer. On the right, my sister is getting ready for summer and adding her own taste to her new beach hat. Let's talk about our market. We will be targeting 3 distinct groups of sellers in the MENA region. 1, existing online sellers on both Instagram and Facebook. These people have already established their brands and have a large and loyal follower base. 2, stay-at-home dads and stay-at-home moms. We believe that they have all the right skills, time, and motivation to create their own business and become active sellers on our platforms. All they need is the convenience of the business, and we are providing that. 3, young aspiring entrepreneurs. These people have the skills, have the talent, and have the hobby, but what they need is the right skills and incentives to kick off their business, and we will be activating them. Combined, the e-commerce market in the MENA region is at $20 billion and is expected to double in 2020. We talked about our market, but how will we reach it? 1, we will be holding interviews with influencer online sellers and demonstrating our app. Every seller that uses our app is better off advertising our platform on their page and encouraging their followers to use it in order to benefit from customization, delivery, and payment, and thus helping us build a strong end user base. 2, we will be advertising on social media on both Instagram and Facebook and tailoring our content to stay-at-home parents and young aspiring entrepreneurs. By now, you're probably wondering how we will make money. We have 3 main revenue streams. 1, we will be taking a 7% commission on every transaction. 2, we will be allowing and encouraging sellers to promote their posts and reach a broader audience. And 3, we will be enrolling advertisements on our platform in the first phase only. We have plotted Minbaiti on 2 dimensions: convenience and customization capability. As you can see, Instagram and Facebook do not provide enough convenience due to lack of delivery and payment, and almost no customization apart from messaging the seller and vaguely describing your product. Etsy does provide convenience, but minimal customization and no presence in the MENA region. Minbaiti has a clear edge on both dimensions. Minbaiti has 2 main competitive advantages. First, we deliver new capabilities to sellers and buyers through new powerful tools, including an online marketplace specifically designed for small businesses and the new advanced customization tool. 2, we deliver convenience to both sellers and buyers through delivery and online payment. This is our team of skilled computer engineers ready to take on the journey of entrepreneurship and make Minbaiti a successful one. Meet my team. Elisa will take charge of marketing, and she is currently having her marketing internship with Google. Karen will take charge of software, and she has already managed and developed tailored applications for leading companies. And myself, Dimitri, will be managing Minbaiti with a strong consulting experience with BCG. Together, we have completed our prototype and have already started demonstrating it to online sellers. As for the technical part of our progress, we are 80% done with iOS development for both iPhones and iPads. We are asking for $50,000 that will mainly cover our marketing, software, and hosting services costs. With Minbaiti, you can now create your own business, Minbaitcoin. Thank you.
خليني أسألك أنا أول ما قريت اسم البروجكت هون فكرته شيء متعلق بالرجال مان بيتي. في مشكلة جندر هون. بتمنى منك تحطي اي بحل اي بتصير من بيتي اضبط لانه هلا فكرتها فورمان honestly سو انتبهي على هاي القصه بس بالنسبه ل more serious this is very serious by the way يعني بتقص يعني كبك برات المرة بالنسبه للانفلونسر يعني he mentioned بالبرزنتيشن انه this is an important tool for obviously getting the word out. Influencers cost. Do you have any idea? Have you contacted serious influencers بالمينا region بالعالم العربي? And what did you find out? What will it cost you to work with them?
We haven't talked to anyone specific yet, but we know that we have an idea of like most influencers would cost like 2,000 to 5,000, depending on like how much ads we want to put on their. Yeah.
Your marketing costs are going to be huge.
Yes, and
I mean, we're talking huge.
Our ask is like 50% only for marketing because that's what will cost us most.
To do nothing. To do nothing. You're asking for 50,000. You want to put 25,000 in marketing. That will do nothing.
Just the thing is that online sellers have a competitive advantage if they use our app because of the delivery, payment, and customization. So they would want to use it. And by using them,
they want to use it.
Yes.
They're going to want to convert everything that they do to your platform.
Well, they will not have to convert. We are not competing against Instagram and Facebook. We will be using the exposure that they provide, and then we'll be asking sellers to insert a link on their profile that will redirect the users to our application. They will be present on both platforms. We are not asking people to switch.
Oh, of course not. But you will want them to have another platform that they manage.
Well, yes, they would have a profile on both. Right. With the customization feature, the payment, and the delivery.
And how many sellers do you expect to reach with 25,000 in marketing?
About 15,000 sellers on our platform from existing sellers on Instagram and Facebook.
You truly believe that with $25,000, you're going to be able to get 15,000 people on your platform?
The $25,000 is surely for the first phase. So after we start making revenue, we will be spending even more on marketing.
No more questions.
Now Elias will cordially escort the judges to an unknown room in an unknown building where they will deliberate and choose the winners so that they don't follow you.
الساعة دي المفروض تكون مقطع ما فيش يو بي لا بورد ميتينج لا يو بي اي دي هذا
So from now until the judges come back, we will be listening we will have a very special keynote speaker. Of course, you've all heard of Anghami, and we are very lucky to have the co-founder of Anghami, Mr. Eli Habib, with us today to talk to us about his journey. He was introduced earlier by Dr. Qaisi in the opening speech. And after Mr. Habib finishes from his keynote, we will open the floor for questions from the audience. So please, Ali, the floor is yours.
Hello. Hello, everyone. First, thank you for having me. Thank you for the people who stayed till 6 or almost. So basically, I've been told to come to talk a bit about what we did at Anghami, maybe our story or a bit like that. So I wanted to do something different. So what I prepared this like in the past, a couple of hours before coming here. I wanted to take a fresh look on things, and actually I'm much more interested in giving something to you rather than just telling you about how good we did or how big we are or whatever. Because at the end of the day, you come to not just watch a movie, but come to take something with you out of it. So those are some of my musings in the last couple of hours before coming here. So first, our idea, Anghami Music Service, started as a whim, really. It's a small thing between me and my partner, Eddie, the co-founder. We're simply challenging each other, and he wanted to listen to music while skiing. It was in 2010. There were barely any apps for the phone. We were used to pirate music, download them over some places and just copy them. It was complicated. That was the usual day. Before that, we were on cassettes. Most of you weren't born, probably. But for us, it was kind of very normal to do that. But at one point in time, because of everything becoming easy, for us, music remained something that was hard to really get in touch with, know the latest stuff, know what I want to listen to, discover new stuff. It was complicated. So we started on an idea. We had literally very little money at the time, but we invested it anyway. The concept was simple. We were very much convinced that everybody loves music, some form of music. Then if the total addressable market for music is that high, that big, then we should be able to build something out of it. We didn't know everything. We obviously weren't aware of the complication of licensing music. We didn't know how to create something that would scale that fast. And, we had a lot of stuff that we didn't know, but we had a lot of passion. We started small. Literally, the first version of Anghami started, we were 5 in the office. 5 people. The first version was launched, and out of the 5, 3 were part-timers, actually. We expected that the first first year would get 350,000 users. That's usually what you do in business plans, and business plans are always overrated, so we knew that we would hope to be able to get that many. But we focused on getting people who could, work with us, who would be talented, who could try to be challenged to do better. Eventually, the story is that after 3 months, we were at 1 million users. That was one of the very few times I knew that I was really overwhelmed. But the good thing was that clearly something made sense. People wanted what we were working on. We deeply believed to succeed, we had to focus on talent. That was the only forte we had in the region and in Lebanon, actually. My previous experience, because I've done 3 companies before Anghami, my previous company had 43 employees based in Russia. At the time, I wanted speed, so I couldn't find talent over here, so it made sense for me to go to a place that had talent. Belarus at the time had a lot of that. So in Anghami, I focused on local talent because I wanted to build something that we can, talk to, right? It's not remote things. I wanted people to be able to think together to create something. So I really thought that with mobile, we're leveraging out everything. There isn't anyone in mobile that has 10 years experience. At the time, in 2010, nobody had 5 years experience in mobile development. So it made sense to start from scratch anyway. So that decision was important at the time, but for me right now, it's something very deep. We started Anghami and we ran after a very big idea, right? I mean, we wanted Anghami to become the leader of music entertainment across the Middle East. We were, as I said, 5 people with barely some money, and we wanted to grow and reach millions of people. As you're probably familiar, it's not about the idea, it's about the execution. So when we focused on growing with partners. We realized that we couldn't do everything ourselves, we needed partners. And in our business, there are a lot of partners. First, music business, in our case, is one of the few businesses whereby you don't own your raw material, right? So we don't own the music, we don't own the artists, right? So we don't even get them, and then we put a markup over them and sell them like any traditional retail business. We have to do that creatively. We have to generate revenue out of people willing to pay for something that originally they thought they were getting for free. Because music is for free for a lot of people. And Generation Z obviously believed in that. So partnerships involve something that usually a lot of people don't believe in, which is partnering with someone else that you don't know, because it will create a better business for you. So in my previous life, I know we had several companies that I've created, but I wasn't able to grow much simply because my partners at the time believed that if we're going to partner, we're going to have a smaller slice, and the slice is important. I need to maintain control over the company. In Anghami, we believe that we have to grow the actual pie, even if the slice will become smaller. That is a very, very, very important lesson that Anghami taught me. Even if you had very little money, because Anghami at the time had, we started with $1 million in 2011, 2012 actually. In 2012, having $1 million might be today in relatively for seed funding is an easy number to get. In 2012, it was very hard. There were no traditional VCs, and it was very hard for us to get our first $1 million. Thankfully, a VC believed in us and gave us our first million, which led to Anghami becoming what it is right now. Without that original million and that original slice of the cake, we wouldn't have grown. We learned a lot of things. One very important thing for me is to learn to fail. And to learn to fail and realize that if you fail, you learn from it, and then you grow. You could become better if you learn from failure. A lot of people, a lot of, conferences are built upon someone telling you how good they are, how big they did, but they don't tell you how they failed. And I think it's failure who's going to teach everybody how they can become better, not success. Because success has a lot of details that no one can explain. But failures for us, for instance, when we launched, we believed that we had to get people with some kind of experience to grow with. And as I said, we didn't have, mobile at the time wasn't big. I mean, it was just started. We couldn't find a lot of people with experience. But we thought that getting people with other types of experiences would still be good, right? Because programming is programming, engineering is the same, business is the same. So ideally, I could get someone who has like 10 years experience in something and then still build with him something in programming. That's really core in everything we do generally. But what we found out is that it doesn't work. It's actually a big lie, it doesn't work. We lost probably a year because of that. Why? Because it's much harder to unlearn things than to learn. So take care of that. Unlearning something is the hardest thing you can get. So learning is much, much easier. I mean, and you being fresh from university, you're quite at a an advantage on anybody else, because everybody has a lot to unlearn and then add on top of it, while fresh minds tend to add and don't have to unlearn stuff. That was terribly important for us. That's a great lesson. So getting people who don't have to unlearn, but they are smart, they are persistent, and they have a lot of passion, actually works. So that was critical for us. And we got a lot of talent, and we worked with them. I focused in my interview to have, passion. If the passion is there and the willingness is there, then great. At least I don't have to go through the unlearning phase. We also learned that iteration is key. Iteration is essential in everything we do. We don't build something that will work for years. That's what, I'm talking nonsense for you, because that's what you've been told. You're supposed to perfect, you're supposed to get an A, you're supposed to build something whereby other people can build upon it and all of that thing. Right, I was in school too, way earlier, but I was in school. They taught us this, and I realized that when building a company, when building a tech startup, that doesn't work. We want to iterate, we want to ship daily, and we want to learn from our iterations. We will learn, we'll figure out what works, what doesn't work. Because most likely the ideas, the ones that we think are our crazy great ideas that we want to go out with and get millions of users using, those ideas as themselves will probably not work. Generally speaking, an entrepreneur has guts, and it's important to maintain those guts. But practically speaking, I've learned that anything that we've been taught, as in, do great stuff and, customers will come, something like this, will never work. But what will work is testing, validating 10 ideas, and out of those 10 ideas, a couple of them are going to be great. So iteration is key and will beat perfection. So don't aim for perfection, aim to iterate and get better every single day. So go out, make a mistake, but at least go out. Let users test it, and then learn from what works and what doesn't work, and do another mistake the next day, or probably something good the next day, and then iterate till you get to the right spot. And that's how the best companies are built. So sometimes I meet entrepreneurs or wannabe entrepreneurs that have the great idea and that they can't share because they're afraid of someone will take it, right? And I don't know if you've met those people, but they're all over the place in Lebanon. It's great to have an entrepreneurial spirit, but entrepreneurial spirits were in the same, back in the ages, and not in the ages, back 30 years ago, when people would open shops to sell something, that's normal. They would have the same thing being sold in so many different shops, but it's only how the shop market themselves, or position themselves, or target a certain identity that he succeeds. So they weren't afraid of actually saying, I'm selling clothes, right? So the point is, it's incomparable, but don't be afraid. You should fail. You should be ashamed of your first idea. If you're not ashamed, then you probably will not succeed, not go out, because you need validation from the people, from the masses that will use you, not from you and your mom and your best friend, because, yeah, they love you anyway, but it's the people who don't love you that you need validation from. It's the people that say that you will fail, but then eventually buy your product that gives you validation. And that's the best thing ever. When someone who actually didn't believe in you and then sends you an email telling you, sorry, I didn't invest in you when I got the opportunity, you're doing great. And we've got several of those emails, because originally we sent like 30 blind emails to people that we thought had money or willing to invest in companies, or said they are an angel investor or something of the sort. Eventually, when those people bought into our product, it was way more validation than giving me money, but that took years, obviously. So for us, we believe in this. In God we trust, but in the rest we test. So test all of your ideas. Test what you believe doesn't work. Test what other people tell you will not work, and what you've read somewhere or whatever. Test stuff. Test, because out of those tests will come the right thing. And generally speaking, your gut will have some guidance, but most likely it's the users who will tell you what they want, because you're building it for them. You're not building it for you. And that's a big mistake that I see today with many entrepreneurs. They get a lot of Kool-Aid and they believe that their idea will work, right? If I can only get to 5% of the market, then I'm going to be a billionaire. Generally speaking, getting to 0.005% of the market is quite hard. So 5%, just remove it from your mind. So team is key. That's part of our team. But only, if you challenge them to challenge you. Not team is key by itself. Because generally speaking, people tell you, yeah, my team. And the point is, if you only can challenge your team by telling them, yes, I will make mistakes, but I need you to challenge me. I need you to become better, and I need you to point out. I need to challenge each other, so you actually see what can we do better, right? You work in tech, and I work in marketing. As an example, you can challenge me on marketing, because after all, I'm a user and you're a user. So if you're all users of Anghami, we could challenge each other on anything, right? Not just in tech, not just in anything, because we are people that use our product. And that's how we build the company, by getting smart people, passionate people who can challenge each other. We can every day try to build something better because of collaborative intelligence, not because me and Eddie are great co-founders. We're good captains probably, but the rest is the team that we taught from the first days that challenge is important. We're over 100 now in five countries. But obviously I'm always hiring, so feel free to drop me anything. We have close to 60 million people using Anghami. That's way more than what I've originally thought we would have, but way less than what I would want. Obviously, as a founder, I would want more, and I would want to have bigger dreams. That's how a founder is supposed to work on. How we did that is because we gave people something they really craved. Not something that was good, not something that they needed, but something they craved. So when you build your idea, your next big thing, don't think about something that works well with some segment of people. Should be a good idea, but something that people crave. Compare it to taking an antibiotic versus getting a Panadol. If your product is an antibiotic type of thing, people can't but use it. Or if a product it's a cool product to have, but it's like a Panadol. I can have a night's sleep and get out the next day just without taking it. The problem is people are starting to pay for products, and that's a great thing, but at the same time, they will only pay for a specific number of products. They will not pay for everything, and the rest would be advertising supported businesses, which is good also. But again, unless you are Facebook or Google or the rest, that's 80% of the market of advertising that's already out. So basically, to get people to pay, you really need that antibiotic product. There is probably a lot of antibiotic product not invented yet, but the point is, just focus on this. So one thing that is important that we did, we made sure that our product is hard to replicate, in the region at least. So when we launched also, just before then we launched, another company launched a similar product. It was exactly the same product that we dreamed we would have in a couple of years. They launched it in just like a month before we launched. That was quite terrible for us. How come we worked on a year before and just someone took everything under our feet? But the point is that we've had not just done tech at the time, we've done business. So it's actually important to know when I'm building something, you need business part and the tech part. The tech part is, we've built a product and everything, but the business part is that we made sure that we've had rights that were exclusive in certain territories. We made sure we had dealings with certain, let's say, mobile operators, because mobile operators allow us to get money, get revenue from, whereby other businesses were relying on credit cards, which works just fine if you're, I don't know, in Indiana or Las Vegas, but doesn't work if you're in Cairo or Tunisia or whatever, right? So eventually, a couple of years after, that company that was quite funded at $5 million, I think, and that had a lot of products that we didn't have at the time, closed down because we had done the right type of business. It was hard. It's still hard when a competitor spans out, but competition is important. Competition is good because it enables you to work hard and to actually be creative. If you don't have competition, you're probably going to be just sitting on your feet. So we love that, but at the same time, we made a lot of work to make sure that it's hard to compete with us. Thankfully, today, we're established with a lot of mobile operator partners, with a lot of artists, close to 30 million songs, a lot of songs that are uploaded directly to our platform by artists from the region, because there isn't a big label in the region, so we actually allow them to really directly deal with us, which creates more and more, protection from competition. But obviously, competition will come, and we're happy with that. But then again, that's good. That's a good part about us. But how can we do more like Anghami? How can we actually help more of the people that are in the room, hopefully much more than those people, do bigger successes? That's much important for us. And for me, it's going back to basics. What is basics? It's, the stuff that we think about when, how do people become shoemakers back in the days? They used to become apprentices, learn with other shoemakers and stuff like that. So my theory is that successful startups are not built only on tech, but also on innovation and business. And that's what, at least my experience in the several companies that I founded. It's built on that combination. And if you don't have the right balance of that combination, you most likely, as per my experience again, will fail. But then again, my experience mirrors a lot of the successful stuff that we've seen. Great startups even sometimes succeed by taking old ideas and reuse them and do better, right? There are plenty of that, but they just blend them with tech. Airbnb is not, a new idea per se. It's an old idea, but that has been revamped with tech, with something that the users want. Uber, it's an old idea of taxis, just also repackaged. But then again, there are a lot of those ideas. The thing is, that what differentiates those ideas is tech. It's tech that made it in a way that, Uber can predict where people will be to send taxis ahead of time. So when you pull your Uber, you get the Uber quite fast because they predict that you most likely will be here or most likely there will be traffic around here. That's one example that I'm using, but obviously there are way more. That example is important, hold on to it. So I believe successful tech is a result of talent, people, and research. It's not one, but it's both combined. Both combined provide the right successful startup. So research requires at the same time talent that is fresh. Why fresh? Because that doesn't have to unlearn. Okay, they can learn new stuff, but experienced as in we know what worked before and what didn't work before. So to avoid maybe the waste of time or to get the right pointers for success. A lot of people point to money. Money obviously helps, but I think is not exactly the essential factor here. Why? Because let's take an example. I'm not politically correct here, but We have the 331 thing in Lebanon. Probably many of you maybe know about it, whereby a lot of startups and the BDL Banque du Liban helps investing in a lot of startups. So basically, money or the lack of money isn't exactly the problem, but that's not helping create. Even though there is the BDL 331 that is pouring close to $500 million supposedly to the economy, I haven't seen a lot of great innovations coming up, right? So money helps, but it's not essential. On the other hand, research and tech will probably help. So we all need to work together to contribute to make tech startups succeed. So it's not just someone talking about what we did before, like me, but actually, what can we do together to make tech startups succeed? 331 helps, yes, but it's not enough for me. So for me, talent is our oil, talent is our gold. We have, I mean, right, what do we have? Nightclubs and talent in Lebanon, that's what I see on CNN at least, right? Beirut is a top party city, and Beirut has some startups. That's what I read. I mean, there are other articles that I will skip. It's not related, but those particular things are what I'm focusing on. I think talent is the oil that we can build on new generations. And that talent, we want to put it to practice. We want to see what can we do with that talent. And, you know, in the talk before, there was mention about machine learning and AI. It was quite interesting for me because machine learning and AI do not require the big machines as before, do not require tons of engineers, do not require anything that we cannot do. As I said, we have talent, we have our oil, we're just not putting it to practice. We just have 331, but that's, again, not enough. So if machine learning and AI are still in early stages, but there is a lot of potential to it, and a lot of potential in a country that has talent, that's what my theory I'm talking to you about. But there is no investment in it, right? We're not investing in machine learning, we're not helping machine learning. I interview a lot I can say every week I interview a lot. I don't remember how many people I interview, but I can clearly say that I've interviewed over 100 people this month, but I mean, that's regularly what I interview. And I haven't seen so far anybody, very few people telling me that they're working in anything related to machine learning or AI. And that's quite essential for us to be able to go somewhere, to be able to create an ecosystem that can provide success based on innovation. So to do that, we would like to do change. We'd like to do something new. So Anghami will provide, we'll create something, we will coordinate with AUB if AUB would want so, but I will do it anyway. Openly, because I want to help the ecosystem, because I want to help the engineers that can create better innovations. And I'm doing that not for Anghami, I'm doing that because we believe we can help Lebanon as an ecosystem. It might indirectly help Anghami, but that's not exactly the point of what I'm talking about right now. We will provide access to our data set of billions of data. That data set and models, ML associated models, will enable you as engineers to create a lot of machine learning models, to learn a lot on how you can create proper ML/AI that can understand correlations, detections, supervised learning, but also unsupervised learnings. And the data sets that we have is really billions. And it will enable you to learn a lot that without that, you can't. Anything small, if you want to do proper machine learning, you need access to something very big, very large. Otherwise, you're probably going to end up doing some e-commerce small site as your final year project. So we'll provide training and consultancy. We'll provide machine learning focused talks. at our office or at AUB with our speakers from our company, because we've been working on that for a long time right now. And also we will be getting international speakers. Machine learning is very important for us because, we're a music company. We're supposed to be very cool, music and rock and everything. But at the core, we're tech. We're giving you recommendations. We're showing you what we know you should listen to. One experiment of machine learning in Anghami have been discussed quite good the past months, which is called the weekly mixtape. It's a mixtape basically that we give to 50 million users, 60 million users every week, depending on, it's either Sunday or Monday at the beginning of the week. And we actually boil the 30 million songs that we have to 30 songs that we think you're going to enjoy this week. But we're creating a lot of models. That's one of them. So machine learning being very deep for us, we really believe that a lot of companies can be built on top of that. Take the example of Uber that I gave you before, that knowing that there will be a lot of people today in AUB, hence taxis should be close. So if you pull your Uber, a lot of taxis will be close to that. That's machine learning, and a lot of models can be built. We'll provide internships. We always provide internships, but we provide ML-focused internships to help more engineers gain experience in ML. And we provide free access to GPU servers sponsored by AWS, Amazon, and I obviously got the okay for that. And we'll provide a competition that's sponsored also by Amazon with cash rewards. That we will roll over the next few months, hopefully by the fall, so that everybody can benefit from it. We believe our contribution is not on what we did, but what we can still do. Not just as Anghami, but as an ecosystem. And that talent that we see all over the place, whether in UUB or other, can be nurtured. But to nurture, we have to give the right pool, the right assistant. And I believe in what I laid out over here should be a good start that can help out. And I look forward to next year being here and seeing, a lot of startups built on machine learning that are doing their own things and that are growing, and hopefully eventually building innovations that can get funding from the 331, but innovation that will scale, because they are by definition innovation. We should never stop believing that we can do better, and I welcome you all to try to innovate, to try to create better ideas. Machine learning is one of them that I'm giving you today, but I hope there will be way more. Try to believe that you can create startups that are way bigger than what we did today in Lebanon for tomorrow. Thank you.
So since the judges are back and we don't want the teams to wait for longer, we're gonna take any questions you have, anybody here, for any of the judges or for Eli, to the networking, which will happen just after this, all right? So now we have to announce the winner. Please, Dr. Qaisi and all the judges, if you can join us. So we have, as the teams know, we have 2 checks, kindly sponsored by Touch. The first runner-up will have $5,000 US. Of course, this check is like worthless, but you will get the money according to certain milestones which will be set up by the MSFEA. Of course, we're gonna tell you about them. And of course, the first payment will be sort of free, but you have to do more things to get the rest of the money. So again, this is for you to work seriously on your endeavors, on the projects, and to actually put them out to the commercial market. So the first runner-up, yes, are, drum rolls, ScanMD. We're going to make sure they continue with this. As for number one, who do you think is number one? Who's the winner of 15,000 US dollars? So that's really good money to start the company, to register, to have your first project, to hire a few employees. So this is a company which actually found itself a customer from this pitch session, and they are IOB. Yes. Hey, Henri, can you please tell us the rationale behind choosing the winners, please?
Yeah, we kind of doing this new thing where we explain to you why we chose these guys. So you generally, you just give the money and everybody's happy and they leave. So the reason why we chose IOB as number one is that the team seemed very excited, very strong, very committed, not like the others weren't. But they also have a product. So they went all the way to having a product. We don't think this product is going to be the final product they're going to go out with because of many, many reasons that every entrepreneur knows. But it's really well done. You guys have gone very far into having a go-to-market product. We know very well that the B2C market for this kind of product is extremely crowded. So don't touch the B2C market. We think that the B2B market is an interesting market. We have Mohamed Rabah here who really wants to test their product already. So that's pretty cool. And so that's why we gave them the first prize. The second prize that goes to ScanMD, we loved the fact that you have a truly innovative company that's trying something. It may or may not work. It's too early. That's one of the reasons why these guys are number one, the others are number two. But it's too early because it's a massive undertaking. There's a lot of technology to test. There's a lot of lab work to be done. So it's difficult. It's very risky. But we think it's a risk worth taking. So please go ahead and keep going at it. One final note is that all of us here were very impressed with the level of pitching that was done today. And every company was solid, the pitching was good, and that's generally not something we see, really, anywhere. So I'm very proud of you guys.
So congratulations to the winners, and please join us for the reception and networking outside. Thank you so much.